everybody, and welcome to my review of seasons 4 through 6 of the TV show The Office. Be sure to check out my review for seasons 1, 2, 3 of The Office, and make sure you've also seen seasons 1 through 3 before clicking on this video, because I might be referencing a couple of things from seasons 1 through 3 in this video, or if you're okay with spoilers from season 1 through 3, that's cool too. And let's get reviewing. So right off the bat, you should know that I really enjoyed seasons 4 and 5 of this show. And it's because I really enjoyed seasons 1 to 3 of the show, and seasons 4 and 5 kind of follow in a similar formula as seasons 1 to 3. It kind of loses the Jim and Pam thing that was going on through seasons 1, 2, 3, but there is another human aspect of this show that's integrated in. And for me, I love the humor in this show from seasons 1 to 3 and 4 and 5, but I really want to see what binds the show together, and usually what binds the show together for me is some long-running human aspect. In this show, a lot of that human aspect comes from relationships in the show, and in this show it comes through Michael Scott's relationship with Holly Flax. And when you see seasons 4 to 6, you'll see what I mean by that, because that relationship is basically what helps drive a lot of the show's human aspects and puts a little bit more characterization, especially into Michael's character. I actually really like Holly Flax's character because she was placed in a very comedic fashion in the show, integrated into the show, and nothing about her feels heavy-hearted, and she's a very down-to-earth character, and she kind of complements Michael's character. So the relationship that drives the show between Michael and Holly really feels natural, kind of the way that Jim and Pam's relationship did in seasons 1 through 3. Although Jim and Pam's relationship is still a set piece of the show, and it remains a big deal throughout, it kind of transfers in seasons 4 and 5 to focus more on Michael's relationship with Holly to become the more human aspect of the show. As I've already said in my reviews of seasons 1 to 3 of The Office, the awkward humor is what drives the show really, and the memorable characters also. And seasons 4 to 5 really sticks the landing on that. We get a lot of new memorable characters, such as Holly, such as Aaron, and another character played by Idris Elba. So that's a nice little treat in the seasons 4 through 5. And the awkward humor is there, and some of the comedic sequences are very well written, and we get more characterization and development of the characters we've now grown to love. And it's really good awkward humor, the kind that you'd expect from 1 to 3, from seasons 1 to 3. It's just a continuation of those stories. My favorite characters, in fact, of seasons 4 through 6, actually, even including season 6, is Andrew Bernard. He's a really funny character played by Ed Helms, who's now turned out to be a really big movie star, coming in movies like Vacation and recently Captain Underpants. So he was a big TV star before, and he's really funny in the show, and I have seen his character grow over the seasons, and what's come of his current character is really interesting and funny and likable. And yeah, I'd like to see more of that character, and I really enjoyed Ed Helms' performance as that character from seasons 4 to 6 and everything about how he was written. Ryan's character, played by BJ Novak, has really changed over the past few seasons, and you'll notice this change when you watch seasons 4 through 6 versus seasons 1 through 3. He's kind of a different person throughout these seasons, but I kind of like the direction in which they take his character. He's kind of the guy who can improv anything, and they just use him whenever it's necessary. He can become any character. So his character isn't very steady. His characterization is not very steady. He's kind of I'm an everyone, one man, all show guy. So I like how he can fit into any type of comedic situation very well. So even though I was a little bit like, why does this character keep on changing? He fits in really well into different comedic situations, and he's mostly a side character, so that didn't really bother me, and I ended up actually really appreciating that side of his character. For me, the show really takes a dip in quality when it comes to season 6, because my concern about this show, even going in season 1, was, yeah, we're in the office and there are a lot of good antics going on, comedic antics, but what drives the show is its memorable characters, as I said, and some of the human aspect and the awkward humor. Those are the three things, the big trifecta of The Office, in my opinion. And season 6 really loses that human aspect, and the awkward comedy sometimes isn't really well written, and it kind of just feels random rather than awkward or intelligent awkward comedy. And the characters become a little bit more boring. And part of the reason is Jim Halpert. His character kind of changes a lot. You're supposed to see a development of characters, and Jim Halpert, I think with the direction they were trying to show a development in his character, a little bit more of a mature outlook from him. but they really end up losing the spirit of his character in this season, and you'll see why when you see seasons 4 through 6. It just doesn't feel like him anymore sometimes. So you really lose that aspect of his character, and kind of Dwight's character too. You kind of lose his spirit a little bit. So I'm all for developing characters and giving them more mature outlooks, but you don't want to lose the inner spirit of the character. And I kind of feel like season 6 lost that a little bit. So character-wise, it kind of takes a dip. They also kind of lose that human aspect in season 6 also. They tried to do it a little bit with Andy Bernard and some of the relationship trouble he goes through, but really it harkens back to stuff we've already seen in the past season, so it feels very unoriginal. And I feel like it lost that human aspect, especially with Holly's character exiting from the scene, and we don't really know. It's kind of shrouded in mystery what happens next for Michael and Holly, but it just kind of loses that human heft that the show had, and it's just kind of deflated human-wise, and you're not able to really understand these characters or understand their relationships as much in season 6. Humor-wise, I also think that season 6 takes a little bit of a dip in that, you have awkward humor, and then there's just like lowbrow, random humor that's not intelligently written. They try to cram in too much stuff into the episodes, and it just feels like there's no flow to the comedy. And I'm only talking about season 6 here. The seasons 4 to 5, the comedy really sticks the landing, but season 6, it really takes a dip. And I mean, in general, seasons 4 and 5 are more of a continuation of season 1 to 3, and season 6 kind of just is kind of a dip for the show. And I don't know what season 7 and 8 will hold, or if they'll be able to bring it back up, or season 9, how they'll conclude the season or the show. I have heard, however, that season 9 is what is a little bit more like seasons 1 through 5. So I'm excited to get to season 9 as soon as I can. But that's all I have for The Office seasons 4 through 6, guys. Be sure to see seasons 4 through 5 at least. And 6 is just not that good, honestly. Hope you guys like this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you know every time I post a new video.